Have you ever seen two people love each other deeply, yet still fail to feel emotionally settled with each other? That is where compatibility becomes more subtle than attraction. Because relationships are not held together by chemistry alone. They are held together by how two emotional bodies meet, respond, regulate, and sustain closeness over time. And that is exactly why Tithi matters. When I look at Tithi in intimate compatibility, I am not just asking, do these two people like each other? I'm asking something deeper. How does each person seek love? How do they hold love? What makes one person feel alive in connection, and what makes the other feel safe enough to stay open? And one of the strongest pairings here is Pratipada and Saptami. Why is this such a powerful match? Because it brings together two forces that every enduring relationship needs: emotional spark and emotional stability. Pratipada is the spark. This is the Tithi of desire, movement, excitement, initiation, emotional hunger, and vivid engagement with life. This person often wants love to feel alive, expressive, charged, and meaningful. They do not thrive in dead emotional space. They want response, they want momentum, they want to feel chosen, wanted, and emotionally fed. Pratipada types often bring romance, imagination, sensuality, intensity, and a larger-than-life quality into relationships. But that same force can also become impatience, overstimulation, distraction, or emotional inconsistency. They can begin quickly, feel quickly, want quickly. Saptami is the stabilizer. This is the Tithi of devotion, groundedness, truth, service, and relational reliability. Saptami wants something solid. This person values sincerity, practical consistency, emotional depth, and trust that is built through action. They do not only want feelings. They want feelings they can depend on. Saptami often brings steadiness, honesty, work ethic, grounded thinking, and a strong sense of loyalty into a bond. But if extreme, that same strength can become rigidity, habit fixation, bluntness, or difficulty adapting. Now see why this match works. Pratipada brings warmth, pursuit, romance, stimulation, and emotional animation. Saptami brings structure, dependability, trust, and the capacity to hold the relationship together. One brings movement, the other brings containment. One says, let us begin. The other says, let us make this last. This is why the pairing is not just attractive, it is functional. And that matters because many relationships fail from imbalance. Some couples have plenty of spark but no stability. Others have stability but no aliveness. This pairing naturally contains both. Pratipada helps Saptami become more open, expressive, emotionally awake, and romantically engaged. Saptami helps Pratipada become more grounded, consistent, emotionally responsible, and trustworthy in love. So this is not a match based on sameness. It is a match based on complement. Now let me make this practical. How does Pratipada usually feel loved? Through enthusiasm, through visible desire, through emotional responsiveness, through growth, through the feeling that the relationship has life in it. What hurts Pratipada most is emotional dullness, neglect, stagnation, or feeling that the connection has lost its pulse. How does Saptami usually feel loved? Through honesty, through consistency, through follow-through, through practical loyalty, through emotional steadiness over time. What hurts Saptami most is instability, hypocrisy, emotional chaos, mixed signals, or unreliable behavior. This is where counselors and coaches need to listen carefully. If these two are struggling, the real problem may not be communication alone. It may be that one partner is trying to protect vitality while the other is trying to protect trust. One fears deadness. The other fears instability. Once you see that, the relationship stops looking confusing. It starts looking patterned. And once it is patterned, it becomes workable. For lovers, this insight is just as valuable. If you are the Pratipada type, your gift is your life force. You bring energy, desire, creativity, romance, and emotional ignition. But your work is to not let desire turn into impulsiveness, and not let emotional hunger make you careless with consistency. If you are the Saptami type, your gift is your grounding. You bring devotion, truth, stability, and the ability to sustain love through action. But your work is to not let steadiness become rigidity and not let practicality become emotional dryness. This is the hidden beauty of the match. Each person carries what the other needs. Pratipada prevents the relationship from becoming flat. Saptami prevents the relationship from becoming unstable. Pratipada keeps attraction alive. Saptami keeps trust alive. And that is one of the deepest truths in compatibility. A strong relationship is not created by two identical people. It is created when two emotional systems can meet in a way that lets both love and trust survive. That is why Pratipada and Saptami rank so highly. This is desire meeting devotion, excitement meeting steadiness, romance meeting reliability. One partner brings the fire, the other gives that fire a vessel. And when that happens, intimacy becomes more than chemistry, it becomes sustainable. So if you are a lover trying to understand your bond, or a coach or counselor trying to understand a couple in front of you, do not ask only whether there is attraction. Ask whether one person brings aliveness and the other brings emotional holding. Because when those two come together well, you do not just get passion. You get a relationship that can breathe, deepen and endure. If this gave you a new lens for understanding emotional compatibility, stay with this work. Because once you begin reading relationships through emotional rhythm, you stop asking why are we so different? And you start asking the real question, how are our differences meant to complete the bond?